Hey guys, Phantom GP here. So today I've got 5 tips for you to help optimize your gaming PC if your hardware isn't quite up to date and you might be unable to afford some newer hardware. I'm going to give you some tips that will help boost your performance and get the best out of your gaming. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. So the first tip I have for you is to simply download more RAM. That way you can get a little bit more of a boost in your gaming performance. And let me show you a quick and easy way you can do that. So if you just go ahead and go on over to the website that hosts the Google Ultron browser. Now, a lot of people don't seem to know about this browser, but if you take a look at some of the features, you'll notice the one big thing that stands out is you can download more RAM. Now, they don't really say if you click on the learn more here, it just simply shows that, oh, see, and there's no limit here. You can even select different plans here. If you want to download 4 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte, 32, whatever you want to pick, but you can go ahead and download more RAM. But let's go back and check out some other features this browser has to offer. For example, it is zero gravity proof. Again, necessary if NASA is using it. You have a pink mode, which I don't see why you wouldn't want to use that. Now, here's the other great thing about this browser is the fact that it's got a safety fallback. So in this new version, if Ultron is infected by Jitterbug, Ultron automatically deletes itself and Adobe Reader because apparently Adobe Reader is already built in, and it makes the Internet Explorer your default browser. And you can't really go wrong with that. So I would highly recommend giving this browser a try. I will leave a link in the description. And let me go ahead and we'll move on to the next tip here. All right, so I know this next one might be a little controversial, but hear me out on this one. Now, I know we all love our high refresh rate monitors. You get that smooth frame rate, but hear me out on this. Go ahead and turn that refresh rate down all the way. Believe it or not, most people don't know this, but there is data saved in your screen. I get people all the time when I'm fixing their computers, and the first question they ask me is, well, I'm not going to lose any data, am I? And I always make sure and tell them, hey, don't worry, I will back the data up in that screen. But if you turn your refresh rate down, it will actually optimize the data saved in your screen and be able to defrag it at a much faster pace. And that will actually boost your frames per second because you don't, unfortunately, during the high refresh rate, it's processing more and you don't want that. You want to go ahead and turn that down so that way it optimizes the data saved in your screen. I also want to mention too that you always want to be really careful when you're replacing your screen or your monitor. You want to back that data up as well, especially those liquid crystal displays. If you're not careful and you crack the screen, that data can leak right out and you don't want that. That would be really bad. So anyway, that is one other tip you can do. Let me go ahead and get on to the next tip here for you, and that is use glue on your processor. Now, if you are not comfortable with opening up your PC, that's okay. If you want to get a friend or a technician that is capable of doing this for you, then I would highly recommend that. And what you can do is go ahead and take the heatsink off the processor, and you want to clean off all that thermal paste. That stuff doesn't stick very well anyway, so just clean that off. Now, some people have told me they use Elmer's glue. Now, I personally think Gorilla Glue would be the best to use because what will happen is it will stick that heat sink and fan on there really tight. Just give it a nice grip. And then that way it will cool better. And then the cooler your processor is, the more frames you're going to get out of your game, and then the better performance you're going to see. So that is another tip you can do. And don't worry about maybe replacing your processor because, again, it's going to be so cool. Why would you want to replace it after that? It's going to work flawlessly. So, all right, that is one other tip. Now, let me go ahead and get on to the next one that's really important for your PC. Now, a lot of people will tell you, especially in the IT field, is if things are slowing down, they might ask you to clear the cookies and the cache. Well, I recommend you don't do that, and because honestly, that is not good for your computer. Your computer relies on those cookies. That's the only food source it actually has. So what you're essentially doing is you're taking away your computer's food source. And I don't know about you, but how would you be able to go throughout the rest of the day if you didn't eat something? So if you're not clearing out those cookies, your computer has something that it can munch on throughout the day. And then not only that, you don't have to worry about the cookies building up because it's going to eat them eventually. So yeah, don't clear out your cookies. It's cruel to your computer anyway, and it will definitely keep your computer running smoothly because it's getting the nutrients it needs. All right, so the last tip I have for you guys, if all else fails, use potato mode. What does that mean? That means go ahead and turn the settings down on your game as low as they can possibly go. So that way, even your standard HD Intel 500 can run your game. And then that way, even though it's a garbled mess, at least you're getting 500 frames a second. Are you getting killed a lot in Call of Duty? Well, don't worry, because now you got more frames than they are. So what if you can't see them very well? You can pick out the outlines, and so that way you have a pretty good shot, because if you're running low on frames and everyone else is hitting you, well, that's half your problem. You're not getting the frames, whereas they're getting, 300 frames per second and you're getting like 2. This way, at least you can get those frames. And the other thing too is, especially if you're playing things like fighting games or first person shooters, that timing is everything on those games. So you want to try to push as much frames per second as you can on those. But anyway, guys, that's all I really have for these tips. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, quick disclaimer here. Everything I just said in this video is not true. I hope that someone does not come along and try to take this video seriously. Do not follow any of the advice I just told you. It is all completely wrong. I just did this for entertainment and satire purposes. I hope you guys are enjoying your April Fools. And if you did get a laugh out of this video and enjoyed it, please consider a like and a sub, and I will see you in the next video.